this way. I don't know. I'm tempted to run out the garden. I really can't do anything with that anyway. The noise is going on. Alright, that's pretty much garden time. The power of Christ compels ye. Yeah, that's kind of... I'm using my Ouija board to make that. The power of Christ compels ye. That's terrible. Garden time. That's me knocking. Scared the crap out of me when that glass broke. Can I come in? The EMF meter as well, that'd be interesting to see what happens with that. Oh, obviously not done. I wonder which way it was moving it to. Where's the board? Oh, that would have been a no from what I was saying. Just left.
I'll check downstairs.
Call. Sunday the 19th of July. I'm in my greenhouse now, just
Most mediums and spiritualists and psychics that we knew were lovely, lovely people, genuine people, kind people. I think that's why a lot of them were attracted to that, because they felt they could help others, they could bring comfort to people, guidance, direction, you know, predictions about their future, prophecies, they could help people. Yeah. So it seemed a lovely religion to be in. It seemed, you know, helpful and everything like that. Yeah. There would be psychic premonitions and dreams, even about what would happen on the news next week, that kind of thing, that would all be very accurate and come true. There would be messages for people about their deceased relatives where you wouldn't think it was fake or a charlatan was involved, because the information would be so accurate. Names, dates, places, descriptions of the deceased person, their personality, phrases they might use a lot. You know, you wouldn't think it was fake at all. And we started to also, round about this time, heard rumours of lots of other psychics who were going through the same thing, even mediums who were trained, who were having this problem or having poltergeist activity in their house, and they weren't able to cleanse it or to control it. So that we started to get disillusioned with it then. So we thought, why now have our spirit guides turned against us? They attacked my mother, they threw her about the house. I was talking about shopping. Several times she was picked up and thrown over cars, over the bonnets of cars, that type of thing. The dead relatives, like apparently my grandmother and that kind of thing, had always been kind and given advice. Sadly, they turned against us and would shout obscenities at us. So it was confusing as to why is this happening, and is there another power actually behind? They're not really our relatives after all, or our spirit guides after all. Really, because of what was happening in the house, my mother was losing control. The spirit guides were harassing her so much. Sometimes they would force her into a trance. Once the kitchen went on fire and she didn't realise it happened. The whole kitchen was up in flames because they had took her away in a trance, and she didn't know, she just didn't know what was happening. So that's what made me question it. I stopped going to the spiritualist church then, although I actually still believed in it because it's all I ever knew. Eventually I went to university. I was in second year studying psychology, and a lady, a Christian, came alongside me. We became friends, and by this point my mother was taken and put into the psychiatric ward because the spirit guides were telling her to kill neighbours and kill people. So the police were getting complaints about my mum, the doctor had complaints about my mum. She felt she had to do it because the spirit guides were telling her to do it. So, but then it was obvious our mind was so badly affected. So I told Susan this, and she surprised me by saying that Jesus could help with this. Well, I hadn't read the Bible before, so I wasn't very sure at first whether or not to believe her. But she explained that she went to a Pentecostal church where some of the members had been involved in spiritualism before, or psychic phenomena before, and they had had horrible experiences too, whether poltergeists or similar experiences. But once they became a Christian and asked Jesus into their heart, Jesus had cleansed their house where mediums before had failed to cleanse their house. So that was beginning to make sense to me. The more she said Jesus could cleanse your house, well, my mother's house was still haunted, my flat still was not so clear. So I went along because a prophet was there, but obviously I heard the gospel and I heard about Jesus, and for the first time I thought, gosh, you know, this could be real, and I hadn't really considered before that it was real, that the presence of God was there and touched me for the first time. Well, that night I went home, and I hadn't really looked at a Bible before, but strangely enough, that day before we went to the church, I had a Bible ready to take to a charity shop. So it was sitting at the front door, but as soon as I got in, I opened the Bible, and I was starting to get a bit confused, because I thought, well, maybe Jesus is just a psychic. Maybe it's all just psychic phenomena. You know, is he really the Son of God? I was kind of a bit frightened as well that night with the spirits, because I sensed they weren't pleased I had been there to the Christian church. So I prayed, and I asked God, if Jesus is real and if he is the Saviour, will you please show me what to do and what should I do about spiritualism? I had a verse that was basically get out of spiritualism, which really did give me a fright, because I suddenly realised what I had been involved in. And over the next couple of days, a few more scriptures came to light and really explained it all to me. Deuteronomy chapter 18 verse 10, let no one be found among you who practices divination or sorcery, interprets omens, engages in witchcraft, or casts spells, or who is a medium or a spiritist, or who consults the dead. And it goes on to say these things are an abomination to God. So I got a fright reading that. And then 2 Corinthians chapter 11, for such men are false prophets, and no wonder, for Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. It is not surprising then if his servants masquerade as servants of righteousness. And I realised the spirit guides were not benevolent spirits, and the so-called dead relatives were not our dead relatives, because they did turn against us, they became evil.